Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is our shocking life just around the corner. I don't think this is over the horizon anymore. It's probably not at the end of the block. Sadly, it's at least at the end of the driveway, and it might be ringing our front doorbell. Before I get started, I want to say a little shout out and a little congratulations to this lady. This morning, when my wife and I on Fox News saw that Trump did not get the Nobel Peace Prize and it was given to this lady, we both said at the same time, what she should do is go and give it to Donald Trump. And that ought to be a real slap in the face of all of the Nobel Prize group that decided that they weren't going to give it to Trump. So Gateway says that Maria Corina Machado immediately dedicated her Nobel Peace Prize to President Trump. She has, and I agree, more integrity than the entire Nobel Committee. So, my congratulations to you, Maria Corina Machado, and my congratulations to President Trump because he's the one that really won it. It's just so sad that such evil exists in our nation. Okay, so on to our topic. Next topic is taxpayer-funded radical groups like Antifa. Now, here's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to read through this. I'm going to give you my comments. I've got two very important things to say today. I think that they confirm the prophecies that we've been given, that we keep telling people. Okay, you and I, we have looked on TV and we have seen these radicals burning buildings, burning our flag, and we've said, how come they are out of jail within a matter of hours? And we've said, somebody's paying them. You've heard this. Somebody's paying them. Today, we have part of the answer, but it's only just beginning. Remember, massive arrests are on the way. Okay, so this comes to us from Gateway Pundit. White House reveals over $100 million in taxpayer cash laundered to Democrat donations funneled to Antifa-linked orgs and protest networks. Now, I'm going to pretty much read most of this today because I think it's that important. During a White House roundtable on Wednesday, President Donald Trump met with an independent journalist and researchers who directly encountered Antifa's violence. Among the panelists was Seamus Bruner, research director at the Government Accountability Institute, who described the administration's whole of government crackdown now underway. President Trump is taking it very seriously, he said. This is not just a story about violence and chaos, as you alluded to, Mr. President. This is a money story. At the Government Accountability Institute, my colleague Peter Schweitzer and I, along with our team, followed the money. And we followed it to the top of what we call the Protest Industrial Complex, or Riot, Inc. Bruner laid out shocking findings from GAI's research, revealing that over $100 million has flowed through radical networks connected to Antifa and similar groups, including at least $4 million in U.S. taxpayer cash. That's right, you and I, we've been paying for these people to burn our flag, burn our buildings, protest, break in places. We've been paying for this. What? Yeah, it gets worse. He noted that these networks bankroll bail funds and activist legal groups that help violent offenders return to the streets within hours of arrest, perpetrating an endless protest cycle in Democrat-run cities like Portland, Seattle, Chicago, and a bunch more, sadly. GAI investigations, Bruner said, have uncovered patterns of paid transportation, coordinated logistics, like the guy that drove up with gas masks he handed out for free, and exploitation of homeless individuals, all tied to left-wing funding pipelines that stretch across states. Perhaps most damning, Bruner revealed that the U.S. taxpayer funds have been, it's going to get worse. And I'm going to change the subject, and it's going to get worse. You really want to stick with this. Funds have been intertwined with these radical networks, either through the grants to partner nonprofits or government-backed foundations. That's right. Look, you and I have wondered how in the world the left the Democrats get so much money that they can just slaughter the Republicans in the elections. We're giving them the money. It's being funneled backdoor, and this is just an example that we can track. But it's been happening, my opinion, probably 30, and truth be known, more like 50 years. Evil people in high place. Let's go on. He went on to say, he specifically cited Stop Cop City, riots in Atlanta, where more than 60 militants were charged with domestic terrorism, noting that several groups involved received money from the same pool of left-wing foundations' government grants. Okay, so they go up to somebody that's homeless. These police run across people that are hoodlums, that are evil people, that couldn't do anything right, even if you did pay them not to. And they offer to pay them to go out and do the things that they enjoy doing anyway, like I read the other day, okay? Find something that they like to do. They like to burn. They like to cause chaos, okay? They like to rebel. Seamus Bruner says, we found a network of NGOs, that's a non-governmental organization. So it's an organization underground that is there to destroy the Christian nation. We found a network of NGOs. It's not just the Soros Network, the Open Society Network, it's other funding networks. The Arabella Funding Network, the Tithes Funding Network, Neville Roy Singham and his network, and Foreign Cash. It's also big left-wing funders. Some of them are not even citizens of this country, like Mr. Hans-Georg Weiss of Switzerland. They're pouring money into this entire ecosystem of evil, okay? So I want to share 3 money facts with you about what we call Riot Inc. Oh, listen to what he's got to say. Number 1, like any corporation, Riot Inc. has many divisions. It doesn't just have Antifa boots on the ground division. It has PR divisions, marketing divisions, and a very well-funded legal division to get these boots on the ground back on the grounds as quickly as possible should they be arrested. So they tell them, we got you. If you get arrested, we got you. Not a problem. They'll arrest you. Go ahead and let them arrest you. You'll be out within a few hours. And we'll probably pay you more if you get arrested. Okay, that's what we're fighting. But it does have those investors that I mentioned. Number 2, we have identified dozens of radical organizations, not just the decentralized Antifa groups, but dozens of radical organizations that have received more than, listen to this, $100 million from Riot Inc. investors. These would be lawyer groups, advocacy groups that label good, honest Americans as fascists or Hitlers, okay? Wonder why this is happening? There's a reason. Hopefully they're getting shut down. And then number 3, I think the most shocking thing we found is that more than $100 million in U.S. taxpayer funds, our money, has flowed into these funding networks, including at least $4 million directly to these groups themselves, not just Antifa types. There was an event in Atlanta called Stop Cop City. Over 60 rioters were charged with domestic terrorism. These groups received money for that from both the billionaire class and taxpayer funds. There's more. One other thing, this money, this money also helps fund decentralized crowdfunding platforms. These are the ways that Antifa, the John Brown Gun Club of Elam Fork, which had links to the attack on the ICE facility, I think he's talking about Dallas, and the Socialist Rifle Association received money. And just because they don't leave LLCs or EIN numbers doesn't mean these people can't get paid. So some of these crowdfunding platforms are funded by this network we call Riot Inc. So again, I want to thank you for your leadership, talking now to the president, for the whole cabinet. There's more. Whole cabinet's leadership on this. We're going to keep following the money and appreciate everything you're doing, sir. Well, good. Keep following the money and get your handcuffs out. The Gateway Pundit previously reported that the House Oversight Committee, James Comer, and Representative Anna Paula Luna, the chairwoman of the Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets, called the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, here it is. This is the good news part of it, just starting. Freeze all assets of Neville Singham, the billionaire under the Communist Code Pink organization. Answer Coalition, that's another group. National Students for Justice in Palestine, and several other anti-American leftist organizations. In June, the House Oversight Committee turned up the heat on Neville Roy Singham, the shadowy billionaire and alleged Chinese Communist Party asset accused of bankrolling the radical left's most disruptive street agitators. These guys are getting paid. In a bombshell move, Republican Representative Anna Paulina Luna confirmed that the committee will issue a formal document request to Singham over his alleged financial support. Now. What I didn't like is they didn't tell us what's the formal document, okay? I want it to be, first, let's investigate where they got to turn over everything, every bit of dirt under the guy's fingernails, and they need to pull up all of his bank records, all of his credit card records, all of the, everything, every penny, every person he knows. They need to get cell phone records, everything. And it's not just on him, but all these people. And then start the sealed indictments so that when the sealed indictments start getting served, they're among those that find justice. That would be very good. Okay, one last line. The extremist Marxist group believed to be behind the violent and anti-ICE riots in Los Angeles, which is why, if you don't have gold and silver, my suggestion is get it. If you have a pile of money in the bank or a pile of money any place that's not in the land of gold or silver, then I would suggest you call 800-200-GOLD, especially if an IRA or 401k. 800-200 gold, and just, I would ask them one question. Is my money safe? Can I lose my money? And if they say yes, I think you need to make some plans, okay? Move along. Now, to the second thing. This is going to drop your jaw too. A second American Civil War is not what you'd think. It's far worse. Now, this comes to us from Glenn Beck. This is one of his programs, and it's word for word the program, but I'm going to make comments on it because he doesn't have all of the information that you and I have. And, because they won't listen to me, they won't listen to Dimitri Duduman, they don't really understand what's coming. So I'm going to fill in the blanks. So, people are casually throwing around terms like national divorce. Well, we've also heard secede from the Union, and saying things like, let it all burn down. We need a great reset. Yeah, we've heard those words and worse. But the problem is, we've heard them in prophecies, as if they're discussing a new season of television. But this is not entertainment. Let me be absolutely clear. We must never consider these ideas. I want to address this early before it becomes a trend, because algorithms will amplify talk of national divorce and civil war. So we're not talking about a TV show you watch from the comfort of your home. We're talking about your life, your ordinary, miraculous, often taken for granted life coming to an end. Everything you grew up knowing, believing in, or having the opportunity to have, be, or do would be over. It doesn't just change, it ends. Look at an earthquake, open up the Great Lakes down to the Gulf of Mexico, different world. Suitcase go off, suitcase nukes in, say, 35 cities like the prophecy says is out there. They all go off the same day, different world. Both of those happen, different world. Then when the Russians hit with suitcase, not just suitcase nukes, but let's say it's 100 nuclear bombs, 350 times more powerful than what hit Japan, it's not just a different world, it's not any world. Now, he didn't know that, and that's the reason I got to bring in the rest of the truth. But he says some really, really good things here. That's what civil war means. Of course, we know it's internal revolution. The world your children expect to grow up in, one with school plays, little league, backyard birthday parties, would be gone. It wouldn't just return with an election, a speech, or a victory parade. I liked what one said the other day. You can vote in communism, but you can't vote out communism. Communism can come in with a vote, but it only goes out with a major revival and blood. Sad to say, we're heading for both. It wouldn't return with an election, a speech, or a victory parade. It's gone forever. In other words, when we lose this nation, which I'm going to show you is about 4 months before Armageddon, when we lose it, it never comes back. Revelation says, and I saw an angel cast a stone into the sea like a great millstone, and said, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. When America falls, she does not rise again. Why? Well, it's 4 months to Armageddon anyway. Our system, a government of, for, and by the people, is unprecedented and fragile. We don't realize just how fragile our republic. By the way, we're not a democracy. We are a republic. Remember, a republic for which it stands? Okay. That's another way you can spot a communist when they keep referring to it as a democracy. We're not a democracy. We are a republic. Our system, a government of, for, and by the people, is unprecedented and fragile. If you haven't noticed, much of the global system seems to oppose people who want to govern themselves. Yes, we're the only one like it. Once it's gone, it doesn't come back, ever. Civil war, I'm going to say internal revolution, isn't about Gettysburg reenactors or social media quotes. It's about neighbors, cul-de-sacs, grocery stores, gas stations, and pharmacies. It's about the lights you never think about until they don't turn on, the water you don't worry about until it turns brown or does not come out of the faucet. Before things get crazier, I urge you to be firm in your beliefs and picture this clearly. Not for shock, but for absolute clarity. May I say, would you help me? I'm not asking for a donation. I'm asking you to click like, share, and subscribe. Send this out to your friends. I feel like no one's listening. We get very few new subscribers. I guess I need to ask for it more. But once you hear this, there's going to be a day, you know this. You don't need me to tell you this. There's going to be a day God is going to say, what'd you do with what I gave you? You're a watchman. Did you turn around and send that message out? Or did you just chew it and swallow it yourself? Did you see that others heard that message? You need to help get that message out. And yes, donations are helpful too. Thank you. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. So, I'll show you when the fall of America takes place. First, the overview. This is the last 7 years. The audible voice of God spoke to me and said, the 7 seals play over 7 years. The 7 trumpets play over 7 months. The 7 vials play over 7 days. That means the trumpets play over the last 7 months. The vials play over the last 7 days. Meaning, what starts the tribulation is with the first seal here. Then, what ends it is way out here on atonement. That's the final judgment. Between that, there's some 7 years, 2,520 days, times dividing time for 42 months, however you want to cut it up. Now, let me show you when the rapture takes place. I'm coming out with a book. Matter of fact, I'll be probably sending it off to printers next week. And by the way, we are taking pre-orders for it. It's called Pentecost Rapture of the Bride. Pentecost Rapture of the Bride. prophecyclub.com. I don't know if they have it on a website, but you can pre-order it. 785-266-1112. 785-266-1112. All right, now on to back to this. Let me show you when the rapture takes place. I know I was post-trib for many, many years until God showed me a revelation. Okay, if I can bring more truth, I can bring more truth. I was wrong. Tough. I got to learn with it. Got to move with it. Okay, so what I want you to do is look at it. The left middle, the blue 1, go to the right, 2, to the right, 3, 4, 5. Okay, see number 4? That's when the rapture takes place. When the bombs come down, we go up. We go to the marriage supper of the Lamb. We are given only a white wedding garment, and we watch Jesus be crowned King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Then about 4 months later, you see the orange area? I can't point to it. But the orange area, the seventh trump, that's when Jesus returns for Armageddon. So we are raptured on Pentecost to the marriage supper. 4 months later, it's all over at Armageddon. So there's 4 months of hell for those people that don't have oil in their lamps, they don't have their lamps trimmed, they are slumbering and sleeping, or they are surfeiting and drunken with the world. Now, let me go on. This is still going back. Imagine your day begins and your bank app says, service unavailable. The ATM is out of cash, trucks have stopped delivering to grocery stores because highways are blocked by checkpoints, ambushes, or rumors of both, or the left's shooting every car that drives by. The gas station is a rumor too. One has a line 3 blocks long, another has a hand-lettered sign that said, cash only, limit 5 gallons. You think, I've got some cash, until you realize everyone else has had the same idea yesterday. If someone in your family needs a prescription, such as insulin, heart medication, chemotherapy, well, the pharmacy is closed. Why? The pharmacist couldn't even get to the pharmacy, roadblocks, distribution centers, won't risk sending trucks without police escorts. And the police who show up are too busy protecting their own neighborhoods to protect you. You call 911 about a disturbance down the street, and the dispatcher says, if they do answer, if anyone answers, we'll put you on the list. These aren't front lines in a modern civil war, they're intersections, neighborhoods, algorithms. The algorithm sells rage by the pound, feeding both sides until they're blind with it. When a governor candidate like Spanberger says, let your rage fuel you, I say no. Rage blinds you. In a civil war, you won't fight in uniforms. You'll dodge rumors. The rules of the road become the rules of the rifle. Whoever controls the intersection controls the day. Hospitals turn into fortresses, then targets, then shells. Food becomes scarce, then currency. Your children's school becomes a shelter, if school even exists anymore. Your children's new job is staying quiet when they hear a drone or a truck backfire. Childhood shrinks into the safest room in your house. You think, you'll pick a side, that your side will protect you. But sides protect themselves. Both with demand you prove your loyalty, with acts you swore you'd never do. Good people, just like you, will do them because fear erodes conscience first. You think you understand the market, but markets die when trust dies. Pensions vanish. That's the reason you want to have gold, 800-200 gold. Pensions, paper dollars, coins won't do it either. I'm talking about the small coins, nickels, pennies, dollars, or pennies and nickels and things like that. The currency on your counter becomes canned food, but I put in there gold and silver, 800-200 gold. Canned food, bottled water, diesel, or antibiotics. Your home's value? Well, what's a house worth when no one can insure it or mortgage it or drive to it without risking their life? Then come the uninvited guests who arrive. The people from all around you that maybe have guns, maybe they have knives, maybe they're there to hurt you, maybe they have eyes for your, and I won't even answer that. Some bad things. They might be bringing some bad things, okay? When a great house is on fire, cartels, opportunists, foreign intelligence, war tourists show up. They don't pick sides. They exploit openings. Your grid, water purification plants, data centers, I'm going to say bridges, okay, dams, ports. They fly your flag and let you blame each other, fueling the fire. They don't listen to calls for rage. There's no clean ending here, no tidy Gettysburg in a world of encrypted chats and weaponized rumors. There's only grinding, bone-deep pain, the settling of old scores under new slogans, and the permanent loss of innocence. Once you stop seeing your neighbor as a neighbor and a friend, and see them as an enemy, you can't unsee it. That's the path to this outcome. War doesn't just wound bodies, it wounds time. 10 years from now, survivors, 10 years from now, do we have 10 years? 10 years from now, survivors will hear a truck at night and think, checkpoint. Your children will flinch at fireworks instead of enjoying them. Weddings will be smaller and seldom. Funerals more frequent. Hope, real hope, will be whispered because it's learned to hide. It's reasonable to ask what we have in common anymore. But the next question is, how can we find common ground? How can we understand each other before you retreat to bravado and count the cost, not in abstract numbers, but in faces? The old man on your street who needs oxygen. The single mom working nights, the kid who just made the team, the clerk at the counter store, and who knows your brand, your face, your needs. These are all casualties that never make headlines because they vanish one inconvenience at a time. These are the times that try men's souls. That phrase once felt like history, but today it applies. Those who stand firm, who do the hard work of love, peacemaking, truth-speaking, and uniting, you watchmen out there, they'll be owed the thanks for generations. Turn down the algorithm and turn up the conversation. Teach your children the difference between courage and recklessness, justice and vengeance. Make your county and town so relationally strong that no arsonist, foreign or domestic, can find dry tinder there. Get serious about peace, not the sentimental kind, but the muscular kind. Form covenants with churches, synagogues, community groups, clubs, councils. Declare it loudly, no violence in our name, not here. Now, I can talk about a lot of things, do get prepared. We've talked about them. But today I'm going to say, number one, if you have not asked Jesus into your heart, if you've not asked him to forgive your sins, then you're making a very big mistake. Also, now that you've heard the warnings that you hear on Prophecy Club, I'm telling you, one of these days, especially your watchman, if you watch this more than once or twice, you are a watchman. Nobody can watch Prophecy Club more than a couple of times and not be a watchman. That means you're a watchman. And if you don't warn the people, Ezekiel 33:6 says, then their blood, the people that are not warned, their blood is on your head. In other words, there's going to be a time when Jesus asks an account for what you do with the warnings I gave you. Have you handed them around? I'm not checking. Jesus will be checking. And you want to have been found faithful. So yes, click like, share, and subscribe. And yes, if you can help us with a donation, that's good too. Frankly, I don't think we have much time. Maybe I need to make another program on that. I see us angering the Latin countries of Central America, just like the prophecy said would happen. I see Trump pushing Putin and Russia away, just like we were warned would happen. I see a lot of things happening. I pray that America does well, but I see so many things we've been warning for so many years coming to pass. When the suitcase nukes, I didn't say if, I said when the suitcase nukes go off, if you want your car to start, if you want your computers and your refrigerators and things like that, anything with a computer chip to work, you want to have one of these from EMPShield.com. EMPShield.com. And they have videos up there. It takes about 10 minutes to put on. It's not complicated at all. And if you use the word prophecy, promo code prophecy, you get a $50 discount and it helps your Prophecy Club. If you want to be on the end of making money, gold and silver is preserving your money. If you want to be on the end of making money, then you might want to call prophecyclubcrypto.com or actually go to it or call that number at the bottom right corner. Ask them about crypto if you're in the position where you can make money.